All right. Welcome back to the Built to Grow podcast. I'm your host, Tim Lyons, in studio, joined by Randy Angston.
Good morning, my friend.
Good morning. Good morning. All right. Got a good episode for you all today. We have, we're counting down the weeks coming to the Growth Summit. I'm going to keep pushing this in your face because there might even, I have to look, we're probably down to the last couple tickets, the last couple rows
we have
of seats. GrowthSummitAZ.com. If you're listening to this show, you're going to use the code GROWTH23. I'm not using this code anywhere else but this podcast. It's going to get you a little discount on the tickets. That'll just show our appreciation for you listening in. Great event.
Oh God, yeah.
It's coming together so nice. There's so many things that were kind of like up in the air. They're solidified. The room layout, everything's dialed. So I'm excited. We got some great speakers. It is going to be our best event. So be there. GrowthSummitAZ.com, June 8th through 10th in Scottsdale, Arizona. Tickets are on sale now. Use Growth23 for your discount for being a Built to Grow listener.
Look at that. Perks.
Okay. So topic today, how to pay your staff. Now, this kind of stemmed from a question that came up in the Facebook group. If you're not in this group, go check it out.
Show notes.
Yeah, show notes. Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Boom, show notes. Go join that on Facebook. It's just a place where we chatter and people ask questions. And this question came up, said, hey, what do you do if a client no shows? Do you still pay your coach?
I think, there was a little more specific because I think it was important too, because I think it was like, what happens if you have less people show for a session, right? You're paying a coach to do some, like probably small group or something he was doing. But like, what happens if it was 5 people supposed to be there and only 2 show up?
Right.
So
would you pay your coach? Right?
Yeah. Is it a scaled, slated? I'm sure that's what he was getting at. Pay per head type of, there's options obviously when it comes to paying your coach.
Well, there was that question, but let's just take it from both sides. Yeah. Let's just say you're running a one-on-one training business, or this is a one-on-one client and they don't show. Do you still pay your coach? Or similar to that, you're running semi-private, you have 6 slots and only 2 show. Do you still pay your coach? What do you pay your coach? So the answer is you always pay your coach.
Yeah.
You have to pay your coach. It's not the coach's responsibility for the client showing up. It's the business's responsibility. Okay. And it's also not the coach's responsibility to collect the revenue. It's the gym's responsibility to collect the revenue.
Let's preface this because that depends. That really depends. In the right situation, in our belief, it should be that. If you have independent contractors as your coaches, that might be different. Okay. But in our situation, you should have these individuals as staff members. Just want to kind of preface that, right? We're paying hourly or salary to some degree. They're employees of your business, not independent contractors.
It's a great point. If they're an independent contractor, they're on their own.
You can't say shit. Yeah.
So they don't get paid.
Yeah.
Because technically they're
it
paying.
It is their onus. Yeah.
Yeah. So in this, for the terms of this podcast, this show, your coaches are employees. They work for your company. And you pay them a paycheck. How you pay them, we're going to get into. So so let's go into a situation where you have a one-on-one client and a private session, and your coach works for you, and the client no shows. Of course, you pay your coach. You have to. Now, only it makes sense if you have the coaches on what we call hourly or salary. They're essentially the same thing. So in our situation here at Pulse Legacy Personal Training, we do what's called block scheduling. It's essentially a clock in, clock out. We have a morning shift and an afternoon shift. We have coaches that come in at 5 a.m. and they leave at 12. And we have coaches come in at 1 and they leave at 8. Okay, Those are our 2 shifts. What they do during those hours, and this is kind of what makes us a little bit more unique, whether it's training 6 clients, training 2 clients, not training a client, doing a team meeting, writing a blog. If they're on the clock, they get paid for the hour. Straight shift. It's like a clock in, clock out situation. What they get paid is different per coach. Tenure, skill set, performance evaluations all go into the pay rates. But again, it doesn't matter if they're cleaning the gym. Let's just say they were mopping the floor. They're getting paid. If they're getting a team meeting, they're getting paid. If they're coaching 12 clients or 6 clients, they're getting paid. Makes things real easy. It keeps your coaches on a static pay, so they don't have these fluctuations. And for the gym, the benefit here is you don't have these ebbs and flows of busy and on season, off season. You know your base operating expenses are locked. You know it. So if once you overcome that with recurring revenue,
there you go.
You're in the green. You're in the black, I should say. So that's how we do it. So whether or not 2 clients show up or 6 clients show up, the coach gets the same amount.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's another big benefit too. And I know a lot of you guys listening can relate to this. You have that trainer that you've allowed to come in, do their training, and when their session's over, they leave. And then they don't want to do any of the training, or excuse me, the cleaning. They refuse to do anything outside of the training in your business. And you've essentially allowed them to become that diva trainer that's running your business. And then it becomes their clients. Guys, that's not the situation you should be in. I mean, there's no reason. If you have a job description for a trainer and the only item and the only requirement on there is for them to work out or, train their clients, then you're doing it wrong. You should have other roles and responsibilities that are part of their job, the requirements for them in order to get paid to do. And if you don't hold it to them, that's on you. But that's how your business should be run. These are employees of the business that have an array of responsibilities, not just a diva trainer. It's good. Who gets to come and go as they please when their schedule dictates.
Well, we've had that in the past, but the way we're doing it now is, we have a team approach. They're bought into the business as a whole.
As a whole, yeah.
They cover each other's shifts sometimes if somebody's out on vacation or somebody's sick, because that was the other thing. What happens if somebody's sick? You almost kind of have to carry a kind of like a floater. So we allow them to cover in what the kind of the unwritten / written rule is. If you're going to be out and you know it, right, you got to put in your request and Zach approves it. It's up to you to find that backfill. Mm-hmm. Zach will help. He'll move stuff around, but it's up to you. Mm-hmm. So what happens a lot of times, coaches will trade shifts. Hey, let me catch your afternoons this week, and then you cover me next week. It works itself out when you have a team approach.
Yeah,
it's very, very, very nice.
Yeah, and again, I think it creates the right environment, like you're saying. All of those things now lead to benefits to the business, to each other, as opposed to creating that battle. And that's how a lot of businesses end up, right? The employees are kind of you see it in other industries all of the time. Somebody wants to take a day off and nobody's willing to cover a shift because a person's piece of crap or something. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're unwilling to do the same thing for others. So of course nobody wants to cover their shift, right? But you get everybody on the team, big group buy-in, common cause and common, mission at hand. Mm-hmm. And you have a beautiful, conducive environment as opposed to that bitter battle all the time. Yeah.
And so the next question will probably floating around in the listeners' heads right now is well, I'm not busy every single hour. What do we do with those off hours? Well, it's not the coach's responsibility to fill the schedule. In our situation, we need to do better. We need to sell more. We need to bring in more clients. So those hours that are light or even a 0 hour sometimes, we can get clients in there. Mm-hmm. And so the question becomes, and this is always the question, it was we don't have enough clients to fill a full shift. Do we put it on the schedule and pay the coach to be there even though we don't have clients? Do you put the chicken or the egg? Do you put the schedule first, or do you backfill clients, get clients to sign up first and then put the coach in? And the way we've always done it, and I can't say either way is right or wrong. Honestly, it's a cash flow thing, but we always put the hour on the schedule, even if there was nobody there, so we could sell into it and paid the coach to be there. If there's nobody training, right, there's nobody coming in, we will have them do something else. We're not going to just throw the money away. Sure. Hey, we're going to write some blogs. We're going to make some calls.
Content.
Content. We're going to shoot some videos during that hour. But it's up to us now. Now the pressure's on. We got to fill that 9 o'clock slot, 10 o'clock slot, or whatever that is. So we're fortunate enough today that there is no empty hour on our schedule. There's always clients coming in, and a lot of times there's 2 coaches on the floor fully. You'll see it out there right now. Yeah, there's tons of people. So, but it takes some time.
Well, to that point too, and I want to just mention something. If you have that slot on the schedule and nobody's using it, and you have your team there, and you're trying to figure out what to utilize them for, guys, first and foremost, go what are the things that I need in order to fill this slot that I can utilize my team And their time right now to create, to come up with, to, bring it into fruition so that I can put that into the marketplace, use that to attract clientele, and then now I don't have that problem.
Yeah.
Right? It's what income producing activities can this team then utilize?
Right.
Usually it's not, unless you need to, hit the training floor and go wipe down equipment, or
sure.
Generally it's try to keep them moving in areas that are going to benefit the business and those slots, right? Like what new business can we attract with
That's perfect.
this time? And to me, that's the best use of that time.
It's perfect.
Then you fill that gap as fast as possible and we're back to making money.
Perfect. Okay. A couple extra things that we throw in for our staff here is we do paid time off. Okay. Mm-hmm. So two ways that you do paid time off. One, you can give them paid time off. Like, hey, full-time employees get 5 days off a year, use them at use them or lose them type of deal. In the state of Arizona, and every state's a little different, for every 40 hours of work, maybe you get an hour of personal time or something like that.
Yeah.
So, I want to say that, something like that. Payroll handles that, but there's an accumulation of extra hours that they get by law. It was voted into law probably 6 years ago. So we have to track that as well. The way it works is, hey, coaches are going to take vacation. We pay them for 5 days. So this is a thing that they as themselves couldn't go do it another. Like if they were coaching on their own, mm-hmm. If they don't work, they don't get paid. Mm-hmm. At least in our scenario, we have paid time off. We get paid vacation days, things along those lines that they get here. They get options for health insurance if they want to opt into that. So, everybody's typically pretty healthy. So it's like kind of not top of mind, but it's a nice to have type of deal in case you ever needed it. We do continuing education. They get gear, all kinds of stuff. They get discounts on our supplements. So there's it's like a total comp package.
Yeah.
When you get in the upper echelons of like management and things like that, like for example, Zach's on a salary. He doesn't have a schedule. He needs to get the job done. Mm-hmm. We have a kind of a get the job done type of role for him. He gets unlimited days off a year. He uses them as a discretionary as he want, like if he's got to cover, we got to cover. Right. And so there's all these types of things that we do for a little bit higher level, but the coaches themselves, they get their paid time off. They get their personal days, or based on the accumulation. They get insurance. They get a block schedule, which allows them not to have to come back in the afternoon.
Oh, the worst.
That's split shift type of deal. We got rid of that 10 years ago. That was horrible.
Yeah. It's hard to sustain a lifestyle like that and like to expect everybody in your business to be that, of that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Split shift. People that are still running split shifts in your gym, you got to quit that. You're going to burn out, burn yourself out or burn your coaches out.
I was going to say half of you are probably doing it yourselves.
Yeah. You got to quit it. You got to either have it in the morning or afternoon. And you could switch if you want, like, hey, this week I'm morning, next week I'm afternoon, or Mondays and Wednesdays I'm morning and Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm afternoon. It's up to you.
Sure.
We do straight shift. You're either a morning or an afternoon. That's it. Yeah. Easy peasy. Yep. Makes it simple. The coaches know what they're getting paid every month. Every pay period is the same. It's like very, very clean. And for the business, your operating expenses are locked. What else do you want as a business owner? You don't want to have fluctuating expenses. Like even our electric bill's on a locked rate, like it's the same all year.
I think that's probably, when we talk finances all the time, knowing your numbers and things like that, I think that's probably one of the areas gym owners could benefit the most, would be to look at their finances and say, okay, which ones are variable that I can control maybe, or what can I go regulate to, like your electric bill, right? Here in Arizona, we can regulate that based on averages over the year. But looking at that, because there's so much uncertainty and so much stress that comes along with, wondering if your bills are going to be paid this month, and, obviously with everything that we preach, everything that we teach, it's your numbers are that's like the lifeblood of your business. That's your measurement. That's your tell. Every decision is based off of, the numbers in the business. So if you can control those expenses, get clear on where your income's coming from and start to measure that delta like we talk about all the time, like that to me should be the goal of every business owner that's listening to this. If you're not in that situation, stress relief comes at the other end of that, right? So focus on that stuff, and controlling your expenses when it comes to payroll is one of them.
Yep. So two more things I want to leave everybody with. The pay period thing, where we do twice a month payroll. We don't do every other Friday, because you don't want to get caught with that third payroll in a given month. So we had in that whole
It's 2 this year, right?
Good question.
I think this year, I think there's 2 extra pay periods.
Yeah. So we basically take, 24 pay periods a year, and that's it. That's how they get paid. So that's the first thing. And just lost my train of thought. The second thing, crap. Oh God. It was the payroll. Forget it. Whatever. You guys got enough. Oh, here it is. Sorry about that. You heard how we do it. We do straight shifts, clock in, clock out, get paid the same rate no matter what they do. We get away from percentage, head count.
Oh, there you go.
Pay per head type of deal. Rate for a large group training versus a small group training class, 2 different rates. We got away from, we never did, but we don't ever do that, because what the problem is with that, what you're trying to achieve in the business is to have a static payroll. When you have a variable payroll, as you make more money and the coaches make more money, it goes up, you're never going to win, because the gym owner will never experience those profits, because it's going back to the coaches and stuff. So listen, you can pay your coaches well. You can create a great career for them. You can have a nice work environment, a team approach to the gym, and it can work very well. And so there's a lot of ways to do this. This is how we do it. This is how I recommend when we coach clients, how we recommend they do it. It just makes your life easy. Mm-hmm. And that's the goal. Our life's hard enough as it is. Let's simplify, keep things simple. And if there's anything that you can do in your business today, simplify the payroll and the way you pay your coaches, simplify your pay plans, how you train, your offerings. Keep it simple, stupid. KISS
method. Yep.
So hopefully that helps. Best to everybody. Hopefully we'll see you at the Growth Summit. I can shake your hand and have a coffee with you in the morning as we get ready to rock and roll. GrowthSummitAZ.com. Use Growth23 for your discount. That's it for this episode, guys. Until next show, keep changing lives. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.
All right. And thank you for listening to that episode of the Built to Grow podcast, where we help gym owners win. Now, do you want to connect with me and other gym owners online? All you need to do is join our private Facebook group, Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. Just head on over to Facebook and type in Business Talk with Fitness Professionals. And when you do, we're going to give you our 10 marketing strategies 7-figure gym owners use to win. I look forward to seeing you in the next episode. Until then, keep building something great.